And I got to tear up tile in a bathroom and use a hammer drill to clean up the floor. That was a lot of fun. My hands are still vibrating. And I couldn't hear anything for like an hour and a half afterwards.
Why you tear up your floor?
Well, I didn't really have a lot of choice. The water main broke and ruined a bunch of stuff. And so it was kind of, there wasn't really another option. But it would have been funny if I'd said, oh, I was just bored, found a hammer drill, and I thought, hey, I can use this. We also took out a toilet. That was fun. Not really. That's kind of disgusting and gross. Not something to think about too long. No. Well, this week is midterm week, and everything. I'm going to finish grading everything that's been turned in to right now, and everything that's had a due date on Sunday. Um, Anything that isn't turned in, I'm just going to put a 0 on. Now, what is my stance on due dates and late work? Any of you?
It can always be turned in.
It can always be turned in. You guys are doing an online course, and I'm making the assumption that that's because life is in the way of doing a not online course. And so anything can be turned in. So your grade that I have to turn in tomorrow is going to reflect just the work that I have so far, plus the assignments that are missing. So if you want to know what your actual grade is, just turn in everything that is due, and I will plug all that in. So as of Sunday night, everything that would have been turned in was graded. People have turned in a couple more things, so I'm going to finish that up tonight. And again, I don't want anybody panicking, freaking out, having a migraine or a stroke or a heart attack, because there's just no reason to. And I wanted to talk a little bit about what the midterm is, the midterm module that I put up, and what the rest of the term is going to look like. Now, the midterm that I have that is going to be due this Sunday is there's a quiz and 3 reflections to write. The quiz is I have taken 2 questions from each of the 6 quizzes that you guys have done so far. And that's it, the exact same stuff. Same rules apply. You can go through all the material to find the answers. I would suggest that don't use your original answers if your original answers were wrong. I would prefer that you get correct answers on this quiz. The 3 reflections are, first, just asking you to talk a little bit about critical thinking and the tools of artistic critique. The second one is, how do you apply tools of artistic critique with work to work that you see from another culture? What can it help you to understand? And then the third one is, how can you apply the rules of critical thinking that we've been learning to your everyday real world life? So some of them are longer than others, some are relatively short, and I'm just asking you to think about it and write your thoughts. The rest of the term, we are going to finish up looking at the elements of art. There's 3 more that we have to cover. Each week we're going to do a project still, but the projects are going to be different. Each week there's going to be a quiz, but the quizzes are going to be different as well. And we're also going to start looking at art from around the world in different periods of time. So each continent will look at a few artists. We're going to look at some other things. And this is, I know that there are teachers that teach this who want you to really see a good survey of a lot of art. I want to pick up highlights. If there's other stuff that you'd like me to talk about, we can talk about that too. But I feel that the most important part of this introduction to art is helping you so you can use the gifts you already have to basically learn how to appreciate and respect art anywhere you come to it. And so there are going to be things that I hope that you memorize and learn about, because like everybody should know about the pyramids being in Egypt and that Egypt is on the continent of Africa. Are you aware that I've taught classes where none of the students out of 25 kids, I say kids, young people in university, none of them realized that Egypt was in Africa? Yeah, exactly, Kendall. That was my face too. I'm thinking we'll talk about some monuments around the world, like Göbekli Tepe. I think is really important to know. But like I said, we'll visit each continent, talk about some of the art pieces from there, and I want to talk about different movements of art from our culture's history, and I want to talk a bit about conceptual art, more contemporary things. So we'll talk about each of those 4 ways of making art. Does anybody remember what the 4 ways of making art are? The first one's additive. What's the second one? What's the opposite of additive?
Subtractive?
That's it. Yes. What's the third one?
Assemblage.
Excellent. And what's the fourth one? Starts with a C.
Contemporary.
Contemporary is a time period, but close. It's conceptual. We can't argue that all art is conceptual because every artist has a concept that they want to communicate. But in conceptual art, can you guys remember what the difference is? Which medium are you working with in conceptual art, even when you use the tools of the physical world? What are you actually sculpting with conceptual art? In the other 3 art forms, you're using tools like scissors and glue or pliers or paint brushes to create with a medium like paper or paint or clay. With conceptual art, your tool is the physical artwork that you're making or the physical stuff that you're making to sculpt with the media of somebody's mind. Remember that? So what you are actually working in is the media of the viewer's thoughts. So it's a little bit different than the other types of art. So we'll talk a bit more about that. But we're going to be doing a couple research projects. One research project is you're going to find an artist, or you can even find a movement of art, a particular style. You're going to put together 5 slides, and you're going to do a PowerPoint that you're going to record. So you'll talk through the PowerPoint. 5 slides will be images of the artwork, and you're going to use the tools of artistic critique to critique this artist or the movement and talk specifically about the elements of each artwork that you show and why they fit together. How can you tell that all this work is by the same artist? Sometimes it's because of the material they use, sometimes it's because of a specific physical style, and sometimes it's because of the issues that they're addressing. But you'll use the tools of artistic critique and apply them to make that, and then you'll have a 6th slide that will have your bibliography. Now, bibliography, there are university standards for citing a source, but you can use a real-world book. And although I don't see one of those in any of your rooms, I'm sure you guys have come across it sometime in the last 6-7 years. You've probably actually held a real-world book, but you can also go online. And there are different ways of citing YouTube videos or articles that you find online, or even books that you read online, PDFs, white papers, things like that. We have even found that there is an MBLA standard for citing, get this, an interview you have had with an alien while abducted on the mothership. There is a way of citing that universities standardized. Isn't that awesome? And one of you guys get abducted just so you could do this PowerPoint, I will be so impressed. You won't get extra credit points, but you will get a crisp virtual high five. So that is going to be one of the research projects. The other one is you're going to think of something that you can do with your unique abilities that they did not have in the Mali Empire, and you're going to create it. So, and this may be, let's say your passion is trucks and you absolutely love trucks of all sort. Well, I pretty well bet that they did not have trucks like we know them in the Mali Empire. Although in Eastern Europe, somebody had invented a steam engine using alcohol, and he used that to uh, basically help move people. So this guy in Prague had invented one of the earliest trucks in history there in Europe, but I'm pretty sure they probably did not have one like that in Mali, in the Empire of Mali. But if you wanted to, you could design that, or maybe you could design what a skateboard looks like that Sundiata might have used. But that will be the second thing, and you'll make something. Uh, Design a building, uh, make or design furniture, draw concept art for a car, anything like that. But you're going to use your critical thinking skills and the tools of artistic critique to create something that they should have had in the Mali Empire but didn't. All right. So, and then at the very end, we're going to share what everybody's come up with everybody else. So that's what the rest of the term is going to look like. I also wanted to, I already talked about what the midterm was, correct? Okay. I think one of the things I'm going to have everybody do is also make a cardboard chair, if you guys can get a hold of cardboard. And I'm thinking that might be kind of cool. I'm not exactly sure exactly what we'll do, but I'm thinking it will be an item of furniture that you will make out of cardboard that has to be strong enough that you can use. I'm still thinking about that. So but there's going to be other things
What
too.
if
We're going to,
what if we can't find cardboard?
you can usually get cardboard at any place like Costco or Smith's. You can find crates there too. The other thing we still need to make our own clay. We need to make our own inks or paint, and I want to do pastels too, but I don't think everybody can get a hold of gum arabic very easily. But we can definitely make paints from like tea and coffee and things like that. That's not too bad. Or from, I know that Megan has a big spittoon behind her couch that she keeps all her tobacco spit in. And, you can make an ink out of that too. Oh, it's so. I was driving with somebody when I was living in Alabama, and he had two Pepsi cans in the console. One was a spit cup, and the other one was his Pepsi cup. And as we were driving, we got to talking and laughing, and he grabbed a drink and he took a big slurp out of the wrong one. Boy, we pulled over fast. That was so gross. I advise you guys not, if you're going to have a spit cup in the car, make sure it's easily identifiable and not easy to confuse. Okay. All right. So, do you guys have any questions about what the rest of the semester is going to look like? Okay. Can you, somebody different, tell me what the policy is about late work, due dates and late work?
As long as it's turned in by the end of the semester, you'll get credit.
Yep. And how many times can you resubmit?
As many times as you want /
Right.
need.
Right. Now, if it's going to take a long time, I need you to let me know what's going on. Because if you have issues getting supplies and stuff like that, and that's holding you back, or you're super busy, talk to me and we'll see what we can do about it. Okay. A lot of times, if you're super busy or just life is getting in the way, you can talk to the accommodations office, and they might be able to help as well. Or if you're like Megan, your roommates come in and start turning off all the lights on you halfway through the meeting with the professor, stuff like that. She's in so much trouble. No, but do you guys have, once again, I wanted to ask, do you guys have any questions or anything? All right. Okay, great. Then that's pretty much all I've got for today. Not a very long meeting, but that was all we needed to cover. All right.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
You too,
Thank
gosh
you.
darn it. All right, we'll
Thanks.
see you guys.
See ya.